Since 1948, Stanley Kramer has produced 35 motion pictures. In 1955, he became a director as well, and to date has directed 15 films. 6 of Stanley Kramer's movies have been nominated by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences as Best Picture of the Year. That list includes High Noon and The Caine Mutiny, both of which he produced. And The Defiant Ones, Judgment at Nuremberg, Ship of Fools, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, all 4 of which he both produced and directed. After a 6-year teaching and writing sojourn in Seattle, Stanley Kramer is happily busy again making movies. His new project, Polonaise, which he will produce and direct, is the story of Poland's Lech Walesa, and it's based on an original screenplay by Oscar winner Daniel Taradash. We'll find out more about Polonaise in a few minutes, but let's begin by going back 25 years to the era of Cinerama. Stanley, when you made Mad, 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 Mad World, did you do anything different shooting the film to accommodate that widescreen?
Well, first of all, the whole thing was different from the beginning because I'd never made a comedy before. I was known as a serious message director with a heavy material.
Right.
It was fun for that reason. It started as a staring contest between myself and about 12 comedians, well-known ones, but it finally turned out to be the most delightful experience of my life. They're all my friends. I love them dearly. I think they're very fond of me, and we had a ball making that picture.
Milton, this was a big story from the very beginning, wasn't it? Building a special theater for this?
Well, it was the first theater to have been built in Hollywood, what's now close to 50 years.
You know, while we talk about it, we have some vintage film, and we can take a look at it right now. Let's see the Cinerama Dome 25 years ago. Now, Milt, what are we looking at here?
Actually, you're looking at a press conference that took place prior to the start of construction on the parking lot. William Foreman, who was the founder and owner of Pacific Theaters, announced...
Right, now there's Spencer Tracy.
Right. And there's William Foreman right there.
There's someone who looks suspiciously like Stanley Kramer. Is that you?
I'm a little younger. I'd rather not be identified.
Okay, well, we think we have Stanley Kramer there.
There's Buddy Hackett, Mickey Rooney.
Right. Now, what was the purpose of this press conference?
Well, actually, in those days, they did everything bigger and better. It was a press conference announcing the fact that the Cinerama Dome was being built to have the world premiere of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. In fact, when they announced it, they had a bare 18 weeks to build the theater. Actually, from the day they started until the night of the premiere was 17 weeks. They worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because they had made a commitment to Mr. Kramer and also to United Artists that the theater would be open.
Now, this is the site of the theater.
That's right.
And I see a lot of good promotional signage there for your film.
There was one mad missing in that sign, though.
Is it too late
to... Mad, 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 mad world. Sometimes I think I'm missing one, particularly today.
Well, it certainly was very, very special. But let's come back to that picture. That was, I remember seeing the picture at the time. It was a marvelous picture. And in a minute, we're going to look at a film clip. And I must tell you that when they selected the film clips here, we have the entire film to choose from. We couldn't agree on which one clip we could use because everybody had their favorite. Now, I don't know if our favorite is your favorite, but in thinking back about the film, when you made it, did you realize this was a very special movie that was going to have endurance?
Whenever you make a film, you think it's going to be special, otherwise you wouldn't make it. Problem is that half of the time you fall so far short. Mad World went on to really great accomplishment. It was a box office film. It got its critical acclaim. And it's remained as a kind of an institution in a minor sense.
The film clip that we have, and we're going to show it to you right now, is of Jimmy Durante kicking the bucket, literally. Let's take a look at that. It's a mad, 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 mad world.
It's a mad, mad thing, but he did kick the bucket.
Quite literally so. Did you have to do that scene many times?
No, really not. The bucket was placed in the right position. Jimmy had a nice stiff leg, and he kicked it and belted it a couple of times. We did a few takes, that's
right. Milton, this picture, you know, looking at it, it's so perfect as a special picture to kick off a special theater. At the time, was it an easy decision to make as to, what film to open with?
You mean back in '63?
Yes.
Yes. Well, that was the whole plan.
There was a lot of heat on this film.
Well, first of all, you had Cinerama at the time, and Mr. Foreman wanted a film with a story. There had been two other films made. How the West was Warner Brothers Grimm. And he wanted to have a steady supply of Cinerama films that had a storyline, and this was a natural.
Well, I guess Stanley Kramer's name is associated with storylines?
Well, a lot of different storylines, I think, but it was an insanity, and it had, don't forget, an all-star cast. It's, every comedian in the business, except, according to himself, Don Rickles, was in the film. But I skipped Don Rickles because he was booked in Vegas at the time.
Well, let's come from 25 years ago now to the present. You're making a new movie. It's called Polonaise.
It's a story of Lech Wałęsa, the Polish patriot who proved that one man can make a difference, who formed Solidarity, and I think who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Just think, an electrician who won the Nobel Peace Prize. It's got drama and a great personal love story, and I'm very enthusiastic. It brought me back to the business.
Yes, and a lot of people are very happy about that. You went to Poland to do some research?
Oh, we spent 4 weeks with Wałęsa and his wife, Danuta, and their personal story, whatever they let us in on, and the rest we improvised, and they know it.
Is there a timetable now to begin production?
Yeah, well, the only thing that can switch it a little bit is probably casting. We're waiting to see whether Robin Williams is going to break loose to do this. It's a strange, wonderful piece of casting, really, if he'll
I
do
can
that.
see him in that role very
He looks
definitely.
just like him, short, with a crazy sense of humor, which Wałęsa has.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put the things together and do it. I look to spring.
Just begin production in the spring of this year. 89, it'll be 89 then, yes. And how long do you think it will take to make?
Well, it's a big picture. I've got 2 major strikes in Poland to handle during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it'll take that long. I figure if we started in March, April, May, June, I think sometime in July, we'd probably finish shooting. After that's another big job.
Right.
The score, the music, we're using Chopin very heavily. It's very Polish-oriented.
Right.
And I think that hopefully we can get out before the first of the year.
Right, so that would, to be in release before the first of then
An initial
1990.
engagement.
Right. So in effect, then you'd qualify for Oscar consideration.
Whatever.
There's a long list of Stanley Kramer films that have been
Well,
nominated.
it isn't the Oscar nomination; it's the stature of the film, and I think that recognition is a lucky strike extra. If you feel you've really got something and you've got something to present and sell, it's a great feeling.
Yes. Now, Milton, tell me, is Pacific going to build a new theater for
Absolutely.
Polonaise?
Now, we're thrilled to have the retrospective for the 25th anniversary, and Mad World will kick it off. We'll have some 30-some-odd films.
And these are all films that actually played the Dome?
Every single one of these films have played. Many of them were premiered there, and others had a very successful run there.
This is going to make you rich all over again.
Absolutely.
It's only unfortunate that, of course, that the Cinerama process itself, has disappeared. Is there any chance of Cinerama coming back?
Well, we're going to show This is Cinerama as part of the retrospective. And as you know, every Tuesday we have a tour of the theater, and we show a clip from This is Cinerama. And you have a lot of people there that never even heard of Cinerama, and they're absolutely amazed, and they're just grabbed by the technique.
But having that wide canvas of screen to paint on, in effect, did it present some special opportunities?
Well, special opportunities and special problems to keep the film in focus and everything else. But the point is that I think that Milton's working on the idea, finally, of the grand extravaganza of having all the people, the audience, outside the theater, because inside the theater, the screen occupies the entire theater. So that, therefore, when you're looking at it, you're looking at the biggest screen in the creation of man.
And it takes a big film to fill that big screen.
Sure.
Stanley Kramer did it then, and I think his new film, Polonaise, will be filling big screens yet again in a very, very important way. Thanks very much to Stanley Kramer and Milton Moritz for being our guests on The Hollywood Reporter Executive Report. We'll see you next week.